little hike that we did. This was the city, again, on a mound. And so you look at Jericho from afar and it doesn't look that big, but you get up here and it's quite large. And this is an ancient mound. There were two cities essentially in the ancient world, and when I say ancient world, it's actually a little bit ridiculous because this was a very ancient city that goes all the way back beyond the early bronze. I mean, this goes back into pre-pottery. This goes back, remember in the very beginning, I think we were at the ice cream shop, I talked about this major technological revolution, which was agriculture, domesticating animals and domesticating wild grains. And eventually most people will begin to settle down and they'll become farmers. And so they move from becoming herders to farmers. And then those farmers typically would live in a village because, and we saw this in Megiddo, remember the big storage for the grain? And you read the story about Joseph. One of the reasons why the Egyptians loved him so much was he was able to get them through 7 years of famine. And so you need a centralized government, you need a charismatic leader, you need someone who will pull people together so that they will actually work together. And Jericho is, if not the first, one of the first where you have a walled village, you have a walled town, so that people will predominantly live in the town, focus their lives in the town, store grain in the town. A lot of times, and especially around here, they would farm all this land around here, okay, all around the tell, and you can kind of see how it's positioned. You see the hills down there? That's close to Qumran. You see the mountain jutting out there? That's close to Qumran. If you go down, not quite so far, take a right, you're going to go up to Jerusalem. Now Jerusalem wasn't here at that time, but I told you before, and of course I don't know what it was like 10,000 years ago, 8,000 years ago, but even to this day you have 3 growing seasons, and all you got to do is put water on this thing. And so this is very temperate. This would be one major area, and it's in the southern part. The other major city is Beit Shean. We passed Beit Shean really quickly. Eventually Beit Shean is going to be the city in the Jordan Valley, and the Romans will come in and fortify it. The Egyptians will have fortified it, and they want Beit Shean because it is the guard to the crossroads at the Jezreel Valley. Do you remember this? Jezreel Valley, east-west. Anything coming from the Far East is probably going to come through there. If it's going to go to Damascus, so forth and so on, it's going to go through the Jezreel Valley, and Beit Shean is going to eventually be much more important than Jericho.